Hi guys, my name is Indigo and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. While I was still one of the runner-ups on the show, I had one comment constantly plaguing my entire feed, and that comment was, guys, he won the setup, look at his setup, it's so professional, guys, look at his setup. You're showing the winning prize, right? So first of all, thank you for complimenting my setup, and second of all, this is actually a really cheap setup, at least in terms of setups. So today's video is going to be all about my lighting, my equipment, what I use to edit, and how you guys can do this at home if you guys are starting off. Before I get started, a huge thank you to Movavi for sponsoring this video. Sponsorships are really important to keep the channel afloat and to keep it self-sustaining, so make sure to stick around to hear more about our sponsor. Let's get into the video. So when I first started off, there were really no videos that kind of gave me everything that I needed to know in one video, so I literally made like a whole bunch of notes on what to talk about because I really don't want to miss anything in this video. At the same time though, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm also going to make this a budget-friendly option because obviously this is geared towards people who are just starting off, and typically when you're first starting off you do not have the money to be doing all this and that, okay? So we're going to keep it light, keep it classic, keep it simple. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is equipment. More specifically, my camera. So as a general rule of thumb, a lot of YouTubers tend to use DSLR cameras, which basically means, honestly, what does it mean? DSLR camera, what does that mean? Isn't like digital shoot long reaction? I was close. Digital single lens reflex. Now, I have no idea what that means, but basically that's gonna be like your run-of-the-mill Canon or Nikon. I use a Canon, so that's all that matters. So something like that. A DSLR camera will run you anywhere from $300 to, ooh, like maybe, I don't even know. I'm gonna keep it classy and just say like maybe $2,000. Just to be humble, I guess. But the real tea that nobody tells you, okay, is that the lens is much more important than the actual camera. So obviously there's the body of the camera and then there's the lens. Obviously the body matters because if you want to have some features like a monitor like mine does, or if you want to have like a Bluetooth option and whatnot, the camera is really important. However, the lens is what's really gonna do everything justice, and that's why lenses tend to be actually more expensive than the actual camera itself. I use the standard 18 to 55 millimeter zoom lens. I'm reading it as I'm like telling you guys this, which is a pretty standard and run-of-the-mill lens. I can link a video on how to choose the lenses because obviously I'm not well versed in that, but I do know that it's a thing. And also something really important to know with the camera is that you want to have it as far away from you as possible, and you also want to have it at maximum zoom, so that way you don't have any kind of distortion on your face when you're recording. I'm flat out guilty of not knowing that. I only learned that very recently, so that's why if I look a little bit more symmetrical or a little bit like more better in my new videos, it's because of that. And make sure to be operating on manual settings so that way you can choose all the options that you want. Like I said, I really want to keep it simple. I don't want to go too into it because it's a lot of techie stuff. And I really just want this video to kind of pique your curiosity and to start venturing out and doing your own research. So if I can find some videos that go really in depth into these things, I will link them down below. After equipment is lighting. This is so important. And when you hear a lot of people say that, you're probably assuming, okay, it's really important, let me buy more lights. And that is not true. There is such thing as overexposure when it comes to your videos. I am so guilty of this. In fact, for the vast majority of my videos, the reason that my quality was so low was because I was overexposing my videos, and it just made things look so tacky and unprofessional. When I took the time to understand the positions of the lighting and how important it is, my videos got so much better. So depending on your budget, you can have more or you could have less lights, but I'd like to keep it at 4 different points of lighting. So that is 1 large light source right in front of you, 2 light sources on the opposing sides of you facing the background, and 1 light source behind you to illuminate the background. If you have a higher budget, you can also add 1 right on top of you, but that's a little bit more advanced. So right now as we speak, I have 4 lights around me. Let me zoom you guys out. Ignore my little pink background on the back. This is my ring light. This is the most expensive light that I have here. I think this is the official ring light. This was like $190. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. And then on my sides, I have these 2 little studio lights that I bought on eBay. They were very cheap. I'm not even kidding, they were $15. Notice how this one does not have what is called a diffuser and this one does. What that is a little white film that you put over the light, and we'll get into why in a second. And then right behind me, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have a very tiny little ring light on a Yeti microphone, but that's not That's not necessary. I just have that because I'm a mess. And I believe this is like $25 on Amazon. I will try and link everything down in the description below. You want to have as much distance between you and the background and the lighting backgrounds as possible. However, I just flat out do not have enough space in this room to be making it any farther than they already are. But I do want to point that out because it will just result in a better, more crisp look. I also do not have these lights on full brightness whatsoever. Based on the camera, on the settings that you have the camera, the lighting, everything differs for every single different setup. So it takes your own tweaking to get used to it. So definitely do not just blast all the lighting and everything, because then you're gonna get something that looks a little bit more like this. So definitely do not put everything on blast, tweak it. Let's put everything back together, I hate this. There is hard lighting and then there is soft lighting. The best way that I can describe this is, you know when there's like a really gloomy day and it's nothing but a gray sky? If you've ever taken a picture outside during a gloomy day, you will notice that your shadow is actually a lot more diffuse and not as prominent. And on a really bright and sunny day, if the sun is right above you, you will notice that if you just face forward, you will have very harsh, solid shadows all of your face. So in terms of vlogging and kind of having a face in front of the camera, makeup and whatnot, you really don't want to have harsh lighting because it's just going to accentuate any texture that you have. However, I do like to have a hard one on the side and then a soft one on the side, and it kind of creates this really nice medium that I personally like. If you have very strong lighting and you wonder why you have so much texture, try diffuser. It might change things up for you. And now, aside from the lens and the lighting, this is probably the next most important part, and that is the editing software that you use. There are a lot of editing softwares out there for you guys to play around with and to enjoy, or to stress about because they're really stressful. They're also incredibly expensive. For example, the editing software that I use, which is Final Cut Pro, is around $300 or $200. And not only are they very expensive, but they're also really complicated to use at first. And that is exactly where our sponsor for today, Movavi, steps in. Think of it as a stepping stone to Final Cut Pro and Premiere. Movavi is an editing software for Windows and Mac users who are just starting out. It allows you to create YouTube videos really quickly. It has all the basic tools and features that you need to create a video, such as filters, transitions, and intros, which I desperately need to update because you guys don't like my Squidward one, but I love him so much. But anyways, not to mention, compared to other editing softwares, it is very affordable. And the best part about Movavi is that they have an effects store where you can buy different packs so you can create very pretty themes for your videos. My favorite theme is the sci-fi pack because you already know I am a little video game whore. And what's not to love about futuristic stuff? It's a great option for those who really want to start editing YouTube videos but they don't really know where to start. They've been kind enough to provide us with a link for a 7-day free trial, and they've also given us a 20% discount code MOVE+. Once again, huge thank you to Movavi for sponsoring this video. It really helps keep the channel afloat. So be sure to go check them out if you're interested. And then once you've mastered an introductory app like Movavi, you guys can start moving to Premiere or Final Cut Pro. Do not worry about getting Final Cut Pro or Premiere as fast as possible because they're the type of apps that you really need to build yourself up to. Because I know for a fact that if I would have started with Final Cut Pro, I would have dropped it very quickly. Even to this day, I'm still learning how to use Final Cut Pro. So I highly recommend you guys with starting off with a more basic introductory app before going for the big boys. And also this goes for any editing software that you use. Try to avoid over editing. I think we all know what I'm talking about. You know that editing where like every single second has to be a joke and it has to be funny. It has to make this loud obnoxious noise. Don't do it. It really just narrows your audience to a very specific niche and it doesn't cater to everybody. And I've also found out that less is always more in terms of everything. And flat out, people just don't want to sit through a 10-minute video of just screaming loud obnoxious noises with different filters put onto it. It can work for some people, but as a general rule of thumb, try to keep it as minimal as possible, especially when you're starting off. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about two more things, and that is the background and my microphone. The background is really just personable to everybody. Some people, like Ashley for example, really like to have a very homey, immersive background to kind of make the audience feel like they are there with you. Or like Kaylin, who has a gorgeous background that's very custom and is very her. Or you can be like me and just have a white solid background. This is Savage paper. It is very expensive, let me tell you that. But it looks good. So if you are going to use a background like that, make sure that there's no crusties, no dusties, like none of it. Y'all, this microphone is like chef's kiss. What I'm about to tell you is not sponsored. It was just a really lucky find that I found. This little microphone that I use is the Tax Star. I'll leave the link down below. I got it on Amazon. It was $20. The only thing that I don't really like about it is that it needs a battery, but I think that's kind of standard for most microphones. This little microphone makes my audio sound really decent with no hassle. It's already on the video. I don't have to do anything about it. It's literally just there, and I really appreciate that. I think the quality of your audio is probably one of the most important things when it comes to a video's quality, because you can have a gorgeously color graded 60 frames per second 1080p video, but if the audio sounds like it's Minecraft, it ain't gonna make the cut, sweetie. We're gonna skip the video. No shade to Minecraft though, because that's my game, period. But yeah, so I think that is it. I'm looking at my notes and I think I covered everything. Okay, so let's kind of do like a little mini summary. I think the 3 most important things that you really want to focus on when it comes to editing is the lens of your camera, the lighting, and your audio. I think if I had to do everything all over again, I definitely would have splurged more on a very expensive lens, kept that microphone, and probably gotten cheaper lights. Obviously, my setup is not perfect whatsoever. I have many improvements that I really want to build on, but at the end of the day, this is the setup that has been getting me through and what I use to operate day to day. And quite frankly, it's been working for me for almost a year now, so. And also, I would highly encourage you guys to do your own research. I am just one source. I'm speaking from experience, but obviously everybody has different experiences and everybody has different opinions. Best way to make a good decision is to get different opinions from all across the board and then form your own. So that is all that I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. A huge thank you once again to Movavi for sponsoring this video. I hope this video was helpful, if not at least entertaining. And if I upload this video when I think I'm uploading it, I have a very fun surprise for you guys planned tomorrow, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you guys like my art, if you guys like my energy, please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on my Instagram down below if you don't already, and I will see you guys in the future. Bye-bye. There is no montage, but I can show y'all a floating shopping list. Bye, guys.